Good morning, Ms. Ballard Moore. Thank you for joining me in interviewing you this morning. Thank you for being available.
Good morning, Miss Ballard. Thank you for asking me. I'm so honored that you chose me to participate in this interview process.
Yes. As my mentor, I want to ask you some questions, starting with this first one.
Okay.
How do librarians make collection decisions in Dallas ISD?
Okay. So in Dallas ISD, as librarians, our job is to build safe, curriculum supportive, and age appropriate collections that meet students' academic and recreational reading needs. We have to evaluate every title for curriculum alignment, for age and reading level appropriateness, for instructional value and student interest. Um, we consult professional reviews like JLG and all these different journals and stuff and trusted vendor information. We consider equity, representation, local community needs. We consider all those things when adding or removing materials. Our district's library media services team provides district-wide guidance, and they vet it's centralized vetting, so school collections are consistent with our district, with Dallas ISD district goals.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The second question, um, you can take your time answering this too. What is the book selection process in Dallas ISD?
Okay. Book selection process. It's several different steps actually in our book selection process. And that involves identifying the books, professional review and screening, public posting, transparency, and that's kind of new now,
Mm.
acquisition and cataloging. And then there's the option for reconsideration and challenges. It may not go that far, but it's there. So with the identification, um, our titles can come to us from suggestions by teachers or from other staff members, from librarians, vendor catalogs and recommendations, student recommendations, curriculum teams. It can be from public recommendations. So pretty much it's a public school district. Anyone can suggest a title for review. Um, the second step, the professional review and screening, is where it's important to have a librarian or a certified librarian. So library and media services staff will screen candidates or books for curriculum fit, whether or not they're age appropriate for your particular grade level. They'll check to see if they have any published professional reviews, recommendations in the reviews, and then also alignment with district curriculum, district instructional goals. Um, we use vendor metadata, review journals like school library journal, um, and subject experts during this stage.
Okay.
Um, then the third part is public posting and transparency, and that's so that everyone else, constituents, can see what's being considered. So new titles that will join the district collection are posted publicly for a review period of 30 days. It's just the new titles,
Okay.
prior to final approval and cataloging, so that staff and the community can see what's coming into the libraries in Dallas ISD. And then the fourth step is acquisition and cataloging. After approval, after all those materials have been approved, then they are purchased and then they get cataloged into the district system. And then they're distributed to school libraries or to the district collection. And that's important because we have interlibrary loan. And then the very last step, which, like I said, it may not get that far. We hope that it doesn't get that far, but the last step would be reconsideration and
Mm.
challenges. So Dallas ISD maintains processes for reconsiderations. Patrons, community members, they may file formal challenges, which are handled according to district policy and established reconsideration procedures.
Okay. I want to ask you a question back on the with the book selection, kind of
Mhm.
because you made me think of something.
Okay.
Have any parents, because this hasn't happened for me, but have any parents ever gave you a suggestion for a book title or anything?
They've never given me a suggestion as a book to purchase. They have questioned some of the, I've had them to question a book that we had here before, and I've
Okay.
had parents to donate a book that they thought was important and that more kids should have access to.
Okay, like I know the community, like North Texas Food Bank, they've donated books, and I kind of did the process with those books too. But I've never had a parent nor a teacher, uh, mainly parents suggest certain titles. So,
Mm-hmm. I've had
mhm.
teachers, I haven't done it this year. It's been a little crazy this year with the new house bills and everything, so I haven't done it. But normally I send out a form for teachers to fill out, and it's available
Mhm.
all year, but I try to get them at the beginning of the year, asking them if there are any books that they would like to recommend that would accentuate their curriculum or something that they would recommend that they feel would be vital to helping to improve students' chances of academic success.
Okay. Um, Now, I didn't know about the 30-day titles, with new books because I think all the books that I'm receiving are considered new. And or well, no, when they say new titles, that means into the entire district, not just what I'm getting, right?
Right. That means if it's a
Okay.
book that's been in a district before, if some other school already has it, it's not considered
Um,
new, even though it's new to your school. But if
oh,
it's a book that's nowhere in the district, and that's primarily going to be books that were published in 2025 this year, it'll be
oh,
more of those. So if it's something from 2024, like if there's a new edition of a Harry Potter book or something like that, chances
mm,
are somebody already has that book in the district. But if it's a brand new book, like the second part in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder or something like that, then
okay,
it goes on that new list because no one else has gotten it yet.
okay.
Hmm.
Has any and this just me wanting to know too, has have you suggested any books and they got rejected or turned down or want you to reconsider?
Not yet. I turned in my list of all my new books, and I had quite a few new books. So I think that it's probably gonna take, I know they said 30 days, but if you think about it, how many schools are in Dallas ISD?
A
And
lot.
there's a lot. So as far as high schools go, I figure we have probably about, I'm guessing, maybe 30 high schools, and those are the ones. I think secondary has more of the books that probably get challenged, but it's going to take them a while
Yeah.
to actually go through them. So
Hmm.
far, they have not suggested that I remove anything from the list that I made. And
Okay.
then as from my existing collection, they only asked me about two books that I had.
Okay. I know
Hmm.
I had a book, it's a Pinkalicious book. I'm thinking like, oh, it's Pinkalicious.
Hmm.
So I opened it, flipped through the pages, and Pinkalicious is topless.
Is she?
And then the next pic, yeah, it has, nipples and everything.
Hmm.
Um, and the next page, it was her in the tub. So I did not put that on my shelf because, she's doesn't have a top and she, they show her areolas. So
Hmm.
I didn't feel like to put that book on the shelf because she is nude.
Hmm.
And I was shocked of it. So I did go through some other Pinkalicious books just to see, are they sliding little things in? Like, because I've never actually looked through a Pinkalicious. Well, I've seen a Pinkalicious book, but uh not that one. That was my
Hmm.
first time seeing that one. So it was a bilingual book too, which I really, really wish I could keep, but I'm not putting it on the shelves.
Well, what you could also do is talk to some of your fellow elementary librarians and see if they've had that same book, if they had
Oh,
any challenges because of it, how their patrons felt about that book, because you're always going to have someone who decides not to be as cautious or who might not necessarily see the book and notice that it has something like that in it and it gets put on
yes,
the shelf. So you can
yes.
always talk to them and see what their experiences have been like with it. Because it
Okay,
really just depends on your area, because some areas are more lenient as far as things like that go, and then some of them are more strict. It just depends on the patrons and that community that you're in.
okay. Yeah, I can see. I'll
Hmm.
ask, 'cause I know at our next meeting I can ask. I can ask some people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring the book so I can make sure I remember. Because
Right.
some
And
people
then if
like,
you want
I
to get
don't
a
remember. So they may not remember
broader view of
exactly the
it,
book.
it's probably someone has probably posted about it already if they've had issues on either Twitter or not Twitter, X, or else on
Yeah.
Instagram because they have those TLC chats and stuff
Mm-hmm.
regularly. So someone else has probably posted about it if they had someone to object to that
Right.
particular book, or if they were shocked like you when they opened it up and saw
Mm-hmm.
the picture of her like that.
Yeah, because it's not a new book neither. So it's just I got it in Spanish this time. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, let me see. Oh no. So on
Yeah.
to my next question.
Okay.
How is the book selection process? Yes, how is the book selection process? I know you're secondary, so I know you can
Mhm.
speak more about maybe secondary. But if you know anything about primary as well, that would be awesome too.
Okay. And you're right. I have never worked in elementary at all. I've only done secondary, middle school, and high school. I know a little bit about primary just from talking to other librarians. But
Okay.
I would say that for elementary collections here in Dallas, again, we prioritize picture books and leveled readers, guided reading sets, and strong alignment to foundational literacy goals. We focus really heavily on age appropriate content and on early childhood standards because it's so important to build that foundational, love of reading as well as that foundational ability to read and recognize words. For middle and high
Mm-hmm.
school, we broaden our subject scope. We include a lot more complex fiction and nonfiction for middle and high
Mm-hmm.
school. We include some controversial topics because the kids have to learn how to properly debate, how to justify their answers to something, how to back it up. And then we include primary sources because, again, they have to use all those things when they're doing research papers and getting college ready. Um, but we still consider maturity and curricular relevance because some people may bring the new Stephen King book because he's Stephen King and it's written for adults, but he has some books that are still appropriate for high school. They're not quite as gory or quite as vividly detailed as others.
Okay.
But that's really important that we consider the maturity level and the curricular relevance.
Okay. And that's what I need to do more of too. I know that's one of my challenges is to make sure the books that I do select is aligned with the curriculum. So,
Hmm.
I can get more teachers checking books out because I can, broadcast it for them.
That's when it's good to get teacher recommendations because you may not necessarily have time to go through the entire curriculum for the year
That's
for
true.
every grade level at your school and for every
Right.
subject at your school. So they
Right.
um they can give you recommendations sometimes right off the top of their head, and sometimes the district provides them with supplemental reading material. They can just give you a list.
Okay. I might
Hmm.
have to create a Google form and
Hmm.
send that out. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Make sure I take note. I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Um, and this is a big one for everybody. How has the House Bill 900 impact collection development?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Like you said, that is a very big one that's been controversial. That has caused a lot of
Hmm.
outrage, a lot of tears, a lot of confusion. Um, so House Bill 900, that new statewide standard, there's been confusion about the vendor roles as well. Um, it has required the development of mandatory collection development standards, and it shifted some of the responsibilities that used to be on the librarian. Most notably is the shift is that vendors must provide ratings for materials that meet the statutory definitions of sexually relevant or sexually explicit content.
Mm,
Those vendor ratings can affect whether a title is allowed in a school library. The Texas State Library and Archives Commission and professional organizations have issued guidance on implementation, and you can find all of that online. Because like I
okay.
said, it has been confusing, and we've had several PDs to talk about it, but they don't necessarily cover everything. It may be easier for you to just read some of it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more documentation that's required. Like before, when I was telling you there's 5 steps to the whole process with collection development, it wasn't like that before. So a lot more documentation. There's a lot more transparency though, which is good. So public visibility. And then there's a lot more scrutiny. Before, we would just put in our list and it would go through library services and that's it. But now there's all these other eyes that go on the list before we even order the books. So the law and its implementing guidance increase the need for documentation, transparency, and public posting of materials. In Dallas ISD, we post new titles for the 30-day public review, and that aligns with that emphasis on transparency. So there's also been an operational impact statewide and across Texas, more than just in Dallas ISD. Many districts responded to HB 900 with increased review cycles, with temporary purchase freezes, conservative purchasing practices, because nobody wants to get in trouble, and
Right.
removal or replacement of titles on hold lists. And that's been done a lot of times out of concern about compliance, because like I said, nobody wants to get in trouble or pending legal interpretation. News reports and statewide advocacy groups documented hundreds to thousands of titles, literally, that have been restricted or removed in multiple districts following the passage of House Bill 900 and related
Mm-hmm.
statewide scrutiny. And those statewide pressures have affected how librarians and districts approach acquisitions, even when policy responsibilities remain with certified librarians and district processes. So locally here in Dallas ISD, this is kind of a bit of a repeat from before, but we continue to follow district selection procedures with the professional review, public posting, reconsideration process, while also incorporating required state guidance and vendor ratings into our workflow. Practically, that means that we document more extensively, consult vendor ratings, and TSLAC guidance, and we also work with district council and administrators when titles raise compliance questions or challenges. We continue to advocate for professional librarianship and curriculum-based selection within those legal constraints.
So you see a difference with the House bill, like order, now versus how it was before.
Just last year, it's a huge difference in the timeline because it's what is it now? It's like October 20th right now. So we had an
Mm-hmm.
earlier, I feel like we had an earlier deadline to turn in our book orders just to allow
Right.
time for all of the different eyes for it to go through the different review processes. We
Right.
had to turn in 2 orders as opposed to one. We had to turn in the order for the new books that were brand new to the district, and then you had to break up your order. Books that are brand new to the district and books that are already existing in the district. So the ones that already exist in the district, they're going to go through a lot more quickly. But the new ones, they have to go through the process of the posting for 30 days and then the reviews and all of that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely different now. I'm kind of surprised our budgets didn't shrink because that's what I was expecting. And they kind of did, I guess, but because part of it went to ebooks and went directly to ebooks as opposed to us being allowed to just purchase stuff. So,
Mm.
mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for giving me your time because I know time is precious and I see more students in the back wanting your assistance.
I'm
So
sorry.
thank
They
you
just
so
showed up.
much for being available, and I will be seeing you when I come to your campus later on
Oh,
the rest of the school year.
well, thank you. And thank you for understanding my interruptions up here.
No problem.
Okay.
All
Have a
right.
good
Thank
day.
you.
You're
You too.
welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.